Another banger.
Pythagoras theorem.
Another banger.
Pythagoras theorem.
Another banger.
Hello, my beautiful aliens. I am coming to you live from a London bus. It might be noisy, but excuse the noise. It's going to be a very short, kind of chatty, short video. I'm Carlson, the host of Authentically Blue podcast, and this video is going on my YouTube channel. It's crazy to say that. Basically, today I had a very inspiring day, and I thought I want to vlog this. I tried vlogging at home, but my laptop storage is full, so here we go. Lately, I have been really believing in the power of you have to ask. Closed mouths don't get fed. Let me repeat that. Closed mouths don't get fed. I have always used this analogy in my life. I have always gone for the things I've wanted. When I was in Kenya during my gap year, I literally went to this guy looks phenomenal. This guy looks phenomenal. Let me show you guys. I'm not gonna edit this. I want it to be as natural as possible. Can you see? Okay, now it's just trees. That is still stunning, but hey. So yeah, while I was in Kenya during my gap year, we're going downhill and I'm at the top of the bus. I wanted to work at a radio station because I have a podcast, Authentically Blue podcast, if you want to go check it out. And I just wanted to work in a professional radio setting. Now, I had a way of joining any radio station I wanted technically because my aunt is a very famous journalist in Kenya, my dad's sister. But I didn't want to use why is the camera not sitting properly? There we go. I didn't want to use connections. I wanted to get it on my own merits and I wanted to feel like I achieved it. So I went to this radio station every day for 4 weeks. Not every day, but like every 2 days, every 3 days, like 3 or 4 times a week, at a roundabout. And I kept asking for a job. I met the manager and he kept saying, come back, come back, come back. And I kept coming back. And then I asked, and I just thought one day I walked in and I saw this guy. And maybe this is using pretty privilege, but you gotta do what you gotta do to get what you want. And he looked at me and I could tell he was interested. So I basically said, hey, is the CEO around? And he said, yeah, here's the office. And he literally knocked on the door and was like, here. And I looked at him like, whoa, I wasn't mentally prepared. I was like, prepping game time. I was like, I need to work at the radio station. So I literally walked in. I said, hello. Introduced myself. I was like, hey, I'm a social policy graduate. I'm graduating soon. I have all my papers in order. I have a podcast. I'm very good at interviewing. I'm passionate about radio. I want to do this. Like, give me a chance. Do not pay me for 3 months. Just give me a chance. And he literally said, I like your voice. I would love for you to author my book, like voice act my book. And I was looking at him like, are you gonna pay me for that? Because that's on a different level. And basically he hired me partly because he wanted to use my voice and he liked my voice, but because I asked. And if you don't ask, you don't get. And today, moral of the story, I had an experience. Guys, we're really going up and downhill here. We're going into a corner. Let me hold the camera. I had an experience at university where my lecturer accused the whole cohort of using AI, and I was in Kenya. So I got this email, tried to sort it out, was told, all right, everybody needs to submit a new paper and then we're going to graduate in December. I submitted my paper and guess what? The paper didn't go through. I had no idea the paper didn't go through because the head of social policy had quit. And nobody told me. I don't know. They're just administration issues and yada yada. And I was like, all right, this is kind of crazy. Long story short, I sorry about that. Long story short, I tried to figure it out by myself, and it took a really huge toll on my mental health because they were not being forthright, and it wasted technically a year of my life now. But I don't feel like it was wasted because I got a job. I'm earning money. I know people who are not earning. I'll do a moral of the story of things always work out the way it should in another YouTube video. But today was my tipping point because the module that I was accused of using was housing. The submodule that I was accused of using AI. Me and a few fellow students who were all black, But anyway, um, and the paper was marked, and I was given a 70. And when I was given a 72, I was like, all right, that means I'm graduating then. And then I had a meeting with the current head of social policy, and he basically said it's not guaranteed until you have an external board marks it. So I thought, what the hell? My anxiety was through the roof. A fellow student I know had a heart attack, and it was just a lot. So I basically emailed them back and forth since Monday. Today is, when is today? I didn't even tell you guys. Wednesday, the 29th of April. Why did I almost say September? 8:11 p.m. I have a very cute wallpaper. It says Discipline, Ambition, and Resilience with a very lovely blue because of Authentically Blue, my podcast. Every time I record, there's always a shooting star, which is kind of fun. I'm obsessed with nature. You guys will get to know that as you continue to watch me. But back to the story. I basically was going back and forth, being like, hey, can you just confirm that I'm graduating? I want to book tickets, book flights, I'm in London, I'm not in Manchester at the moment. Can we just sort this out? And they were not helping, and I just used AI. I literally went on ChatGPT and said, "Kids me using ChatGPT. I'm a utilize ChatGPT," and I emailed them, and I basically said, I created like a formal thing, and I said, "This is a formal request on knowing what the fuck is going on." And then they sent me an email back, literally less than an hour, with my full results because I couldn't access some. I had taken a gap year, so I couldn't calculate everything, and a certification saying I am done. Like I have my undergraduation, I have my undergrad degree. And I thought, closed mouths don't get fed. And it made me think to do this podcast or YouTube video, since this is a YouTube video. Let me switch the angle slightly. Yeah. So it made me think like you really have to ask for what you want. And it made me think of other goals I have right now. One of them I'm gonna throw out there because I'm actively working on is I wanna be a social media manager for certain restaurants in the area. And literally the green light just came off, which is really cool. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold this. I'll hold it like this. And I want to do that. I want to be a social media manager for two or three companies, restaurants in the area locally, because I feel that is something I'm good at. I've done it for two companies before while creating content for them. So I can either create content for them or just manage, where they create the content and I'm like on it all the time. And that's like a side hustle gig I can have. And I'm more inspired to do it. And I want them to give me a price because I asked somebody and they said to create one post, it cost them £700. What is up with the freaking economy? So I'm like, obviously it's not going to be that much, but I think like if I was to be given something in that range, like it has to be reasonable obviously, but something consistent. So I'd like to sign a contract for like 3 or 4 months and do this with them exclusively for a while. And if it doesn't work after that, that's cool. I have the experience, I've done something I wanted to do and explore. And it's made me think like summer 2026 I am going to be achieving everything. I want to have that fire and vision I had since I was a kid, whether it's acting, whether it's working in a garage, whether it's cycling and running a marathon, like whatever comes to mind, I'm gonna achieve it. Okay, this is officially getting to 9 minutes, but I'm Carlson. I hope you enjoyed these rumbles and more of these to come. See you soon.